topic that we've had a lot of our viewers ask us about, and now that I have like 3 beautiful actresses on the couch, I want to talk about rejection, in particular professional rejection. And you know, I think in life there's rejection. We get rejected every day in life, and it really goes to how you handle it. But you're working actresses in Hollywood. What is it like? What is it like for a curvy actress in Hollywood?
It's difficult sometimes because you see what the role is describing, and sometimes it's hard not to take it personally, but you have to separate yourself from what the description is and know that it's never personal. You can't take things personally. That's the #1 rule, is don't take things personally.
So, and that goes with everything, Eva. When you say in life, that's everything. Don't take it personally. And sometimes it hurts. You know, sometimes it hurts because people will make it personal, but you got to remember, it's not about you. It's about them. But
it can be challenging though, because I have a lot of friends who are now in the like producing realm, and they're all like self-producing, whether it's a web series or a short film or what, and you know, they're the first to want to be included in a project that I'm producing or whatnot, and yet I find myself not being cast in their projects, and I watch them going, well, I could have been that role or that role or that role. So then you have to start to think, well, why is it? Is it because that the director, the producer involved could not picture a curvier girl in that role? And if so, like, why? And so then it does start to feel a little personal, because you're like, I am everything about that character except I'm 50 pounds heavier than the gal that you cast.
Yeah, and probably you are technically the better fit with
well,
everything.
if you want promotion.
Let's just be honest. I've been through similar, especially since the past couple of years. I did become my own producer and creator, and I've had people who have burned bridges with me. They're angry with me for not using them on my set for crew or whatever, and I tried to explain to them, I'm like, all those years I knew you before I did this, you never cast me in anything, and I was available, and I have been told by these same people who are mad at me for not using them. I've been told, Dellany, you aren't considered Hollywood pretty. Dellany, I want someone thinner and smaller, you're just too big. Dellany, you just don't work for this. And it's like, you guys are making the biggest mistake. You could be the trailblazer. You could, and like she said, promotion, you know how to promote. So, you know, and then these same people are mad at me for not using them for my stuff, you know?
Which kind of leads into why I've also become a campaign manager for a lot of crowdfunding projects, because I'm now using that leverage to be like, yes, is there a role in that project for me? I will help you raise the funds, but what else is in it for me? Because my ultimate goal is to make a living off of my acting and my hosting and my producing, not helping other people raise funds.
Good for you.
I love that.
Do you have that in a contract? Do you actually say?
A lot of them,
yes. Get that in a contract.
No, I do. In the conversation, it's like, okay, there's a producer credit, and is there a role? And we talk about it, and that's sort of how I base my decisions on whether I take on some of the clients.
That is wonderful. And as a producer, you can make your choice.
It's so liberating, you guys. It's amazing.
But sometimes you're not in the position of making decisions. And another thing that I would really recommend is having some sort of contemplative practice, whether it's meditation or journaling or whatever. You have to have something that you're doing for yourself so that you can just go within and just release all of that negativity, because it does get to you sometimes.
It really does.
But you have to have somewhere to go with that.
And I believe the last time I saw Eva, like you were telling me, you do get submitted a lot for things, and you were even saying, I don't remember what it was, maybe like a clerk in an attorney case or something. Do you remember that conversation? Well, anyway, the point of it is, it's like she got submitted for that. Whereas I feel, and by the way, I have a brand new, fabulous, amazing agent who actually respects me, which is awesome. But what I wanted to add to this is, most of the time, unless the word plus size is in it, my past agents won't even submit me for anything. It actually has to say plus size clerk or plus size secretary, plus size whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or overweight.
Right. Exactly. Overweight. Like that word actually has to be in there for me to be considered.
Now, I will say, I don't have representation here in Los Angeles, but I have an amazing agent in Philadelphia who works her butt off when I'm on the East Coast, and there was a role she submitted me for that I got an audition for about 2 years ago, and it would have had a scene going up against Tom Cruise in one of his latest movies, but when I read the breakdown, it said she was like hot and thin and sexy and like early 20s, and I called her and I said, did you read this? And she went, yes. She said, but they don't always know exactly the age and the size you want, and you could do this role, Leah. And I was so in my head about it. I actually texted 2 men that I know. One's a very popular soap actor, and one's done a lot of HBO shows, and they both had very similar advice. They were like, don't second guess yourself. Don't talk yourself out of it. Go in and do the role.
Sure. Well, that's wonderful.
I mean, but that's true for everything. I mean, there are roles. I go out for 50 years old. I clearly don't look 50 years old, but I go because it's not about what's happening right now. It's about things down the line, and you just gotta build those relationships with people.
And this goes for, it's not just for curvier actresses. This goes for actors and actresses across the board. It's a tough business.
It really is.
We are our product. So let's say you made these beautiful flowers on the table here, and you take them to 100 stores and nobody wants to buy them. You start to go, oh, well, maybe I made the flower wrong. So you go to 100 auditions and nobody wants to buy you. You start to go, gosh, what's wrong with my flower?
That's why you gotta have the contemplative practice, because you've got to just stay. You gotta know who you are. You gotta love on yourself. You gotta love on yourself when no one else will.
What do we always say? Confidence is the sexiest thing a woman can wear. You walk in that room with confidence, oh my, people are gonna notice.
That's right.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Ladies, thank you. That is such great advice. Such great advice. And I know in general, women in Hollywood sometimes just don't get the fair shake. And I have to give a big shout out though to a special person that we all know, and that's Brad Wyman. Because in his movies, females are the lead characters. Yay, Brad Wyman! We love that. We love that.
And men need to understand that. Men, filmmakers, if you get women as strong characters in your stories, we are such like nurturers and cheerleaders and proponents, and we like to promote you. So use more of us.
Go the extra mile.
So wait, did you say Brad Wyman is writing a script for all of us right now?
I know.
That's what's happening, right?
That's awesome.
Isn't that wonderful?
I actually have a meeting with him later today.
You tell him, for all of us, we want roles.
Well, can I just add to this? I feel like we're all on the same page here. I mean, ever since my mom said basically since I could talk, I always said I wanted to be an actress. I just knew it. So I have had rejection my whole life, but I knew that this is what I'm supposed to do.
That's what you wanted to do.
Did you have the same thing, a gut feeling that you were on the right path, and no matter how many doors were slammed in your face, you weren't going to give up?
I pursued a lot of acting and dance and gymnastics and all kinds of things growing up, but I was considered the smart one out of my siblings. I'm the oldest of 5. And so I was just supposed to be a teacher or a psychiatrist, and that's what I went for college for. And I auditioned for a musical in college, and I did not get it. And I went, all right, I guess I'm not talented enough. And I focused on psychology and teaching, and then as soon as I graduated, boom, out to Hollywood and back to what I wanted to do.
Never look back. That's incredible. That's incredible.
Your curvy body's going on, child. Looking good with your fashion style. Life is short.